Okay, guys, I hope you all see me. And here we carry on the writing across of penetration. 2 4. This is a very interesting line. Please look at the 57 again. Like the 48, there's only one line that is blue and the second line, not the 6, as was the case. For example, in the 48, the clarity to establish proper values and ideals must be accompanied by a resolute determination to maintain them. Perfected cleansing through inner realization or superficial cleansing that tends to hide the dirt underneath the carpet. Remember, our splenic 2 story, terminal disease, wonderful stuff. They're all these lovely, lovely, lovely little goodies degeneracy. And if you knew the seconds, the twos through the spleen, you'd think that being a 2 was really well, you know, a little bit crazy. As long as the 57 doesn't meet the 28 or the 38, the 57 gate is incompetent in any kind of relationship. It really is. It's incompetent. One of the things is that they try to deal with just the surface. Remember that we're dealing with empowerment. What they try to do is empower some kind of, I guess we can survive this. I guess we could make it to tomorrow. I guess. So many of their problems are shoved away. Now understand what that means. What that means is that the 57-2 is about deafness. It's about refusing to hear the truth and refusing to hear the truth in the inner sense. These beings that are hidden under the carpet. By the way, it's a 57 trait. I'm a 57. That's my personality Earth. And if you walk into my studio, it looks like the studio was arranged for a photo shoot because everything is just perfect. But don't open certain drawers because you immediately see that the illusion of order will be broken instantaneously. Because what it takes me to find a piece of paper sometimes in one of those drawers, I tell you, and I build the desk myself. So it has the longest drawers you can imagine. I have drawers that are so deep that you can stuff things in there for years without ever having to go through it. That's a 57 too. On the surface, you can have this illusion. That's okay. Just keep the stuff in the drawers. I worked with gays in Hamburg. They were women. And I worked with gays in Berlin, and they were men. It was in the mid 90s, the early 90s, 94 or 95. My associate was bisexual, so he had fascination about white. It was about it was obvious to me from my own early encounters with gays that I had done readings for is that I began to see a trend, because that trend is the presence of the 1057, along with an open emotional center. Now, the 1057 is perfected form. The 10th gate is a gate of behavior, and the 57, as we know, as an intuitive gate. And yet, the 10 is a gate of love, and it's a gate of love that would deny behaviors. As a matter of fact, it's not just the 10th gate, it's specifically the 10-5, which of course carries heresy within it. The reason I bring this up is that the second line is a closet as well. It's not just about hiding things in the drawer, but it's about hiding things in the closet. Now, you can have skeletons in the closet, or in the language or the gay world, you could be in the closet. That is, you're homosexual, but you didn't tell anybody. And you put that in a closet, and you pretend that you're going to go along with the orderly process. So, something to keep in mind about the second line is that the second line is going to carry with it things that are hidden, that are particularly about the quality of love in a relationship. The moment that you reach individuality, you immediately come to melancholy that could be transformed creatively as romance. As an example, that what we learn about Roman through the 39 and the 55 or the 1222, we have to have this building of its fire of passion, that the individual emotion is passionate. Now, obviously, when you come over to the spleen, passion doesn't work in the same way. It's not emotional, it's not mental, and yet you cannot separate the quality of love, particularly for the 1057, because the 10th gate is the vessel. You're looking at love. We're looking at the theme of love through behavior. By the way, the open emotional system should be obvious. That is, if you're a female and your mother is emotional and she's deeply disturbed or disturbed your entire relationship as an archetype, the power of the emotional system to create turmoil. I said same sex. It should have been said a different sex. The boy that has a mother that emotionally and a father that's not. And the emotional mother driving him crazy, fills him up with all kinds of guilt and shame and pain and everything else, and the unemotional father doesn't do that. There's a tendency, if there's a 1057, to look for the perfected form of love that has nothing to do with the sex drive. It doesn't have anything to do with the emotional drive for sexuality. It's why, by the way, that most homosexuals, particularly male homosexuals, have almost uncontrollable promiscuity as one of their main themes. There's very little ways to regulate the drive because it's coming out of individuality or freedom. So when you're looking of this cleansing, please recognize that cleansing is often superficial. Remember, this is penetration. It's often very superficial. It looks like it's been cleared up out of the surface. The person said that their partner, that they're giving up smoking and they do it on the side. And they're always hiding the cigarette somewhere, giving up the smoking, and somewhere they're always hiding the ashtrays somewhere. No, dear, no, dear, I'm not taking junk anymore. And they have their secret place where they have their little stash and their moments when they do their nasty thing. Obviously, when you're dealing with the 2-4, one of the things to see again is this missionary capacity of the 2-4 to be called out to influence others to cleanse. In other words, to look for inner relaxation. And basically, what these people help you do is to supposedly they give to help you empty your closet. They're going to help you open up that drawer and go through that mess that's in there. And it's very difficult to do with an individual that's deaf by nature. That's not going to be very successful. So let's go to the 2-5. Remember, this is a growth process and you don't necessarily get there. Think about it again. You have a lot of value dialogue coming out of the splenic gate. What's of value of the spleen is anything that's healthy. And anything that's healthy in the moment, basically, the only criterion for the 57 is whether or not the relationship will make them unhealthy. It's going to make them unhealthy. It's going to make me unhealthy. I don't want it. What happens in the not self? Because it's very superficial, and because of the way the spleen operates as an open spleen, you can see people holding on to things that are really awful for them, holding on to things in the closet, holding on to things in those drawers, never being able to allow them out, never truly getting into an inner realization. I think the 2-4s rarely suffer from a dirt under the carpet problem. It's like of you to go to a 2-5 house, opening the doors, opening the closets, and that's really what I mean. It's like their whole life is a closet. I've often joked about the 2-5 sexually, that if you see them on the office and they're prime and proper and uptight, it's the last thing that you would expect from a seductive unconscious. And then you see them at home with the blinds down. Do I need to describe it? Whatever your imagination is will take you. You can imagine them to do the blinds drawn. So their life is a closet. It's why, by the way, they will be very successful virtually because they can stay mostly hidden and only allow out what they want to allow that. So very hidden people, very hidden things going on there. Where the other things they draw you in to be more open and to draw other things out. Anyway, very interesting. Thank you. Take care.